Okay, so what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to show you guys part 1 of the 1 through 12 part files located on the practice sheet that you need to complete. And again, the requirement is to have 8 of the 12 or 8 of 12 parts completed for this particular assignment. And we're just going to look at number 1 today and draw that out in Inventor. The first thing you want to do before you even start is make sure you measure out on your graph paper sheet that has the parts on there. For each part that you're going to create, measure out what the height, the overall length, and the overall depth of the parts are. That's only going to help you as you start drawing. So do that for each one that you decide that you want to draw. The other thing to remember is that each grid on that isometric paper is a 1/4 inch grid. So each block is basically a 1/4 inch. So that should help you as well. All right. So once you figure that out for that particular part you want to draw, you want to open up Autodesk Inventor. You should have either a desktop icon or you can do a search for Inventor and open up Inventor and you want to basically get to the home screen here, and we want to start a new drawing file. There's a new part file, I should say. There's many ways to do that. I can go up to the application icon and I can go to new and I can click on part. I can open it up one from there. I can just click on from the main screen here. It kind of takes me to that same location and click on part. But again, we're creating a standard IPT part. So all you want to do is select that and click on create. And it brings us into our Inventor, opens up the Inventor into that drawing mode. Okay, and we're initially going to start in a 2D drawing environment. So once we get rolling, we want to basically select create 2D sketch, and we're in 3D model, but we're going to create a 2D sketch to get rolling first. And with this particular drawing, and again, part 1 looks like an L laid down on its side there. We're going to use this XY plane, this vertical plane right here that's selected. So I'm going to select that, and there's many ways to draw these different parts. For this particular part, I'm going to start with the rectangle tool. I find it easiest to start with the rectangle tool, draw a rectangle and extrude that, and then cut certain sections out. So I'm going to select my rectangle tool. I'm going to go to my origin point here, that 0, 0 for the XY. I'm going to select that point, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a rectangle out that is 2 inches, because that's the length of that part, and I'll press tab. I'll tab over and I'll get the actual height in here, which is 1.25 because it's 5 blocks high. Click OK, and now here's my rectangle. I'm going to double click my center mouse button, and now I can see that in my graphic window here. Okay. Another thing to note is make sure that your browser window is open. You can see how we have Sketch 1 right now. We're drawing in Sketch 1. You want to make sure that browser window is open. To make sure the window is open, if it's closed, you click on View, User Interface, and then just make sure the browser button is clicked. Alright, it is, so we're good to go there. And we're just going to click on Sketch, takes us back into sketch mode and some of our sketching tools that we have. We're going to finish this sketch. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sketch and I'm going to extrude this out. And I'm going to extrude it out whatever the depth of this part is, which it is 5 blocks, so that's 1.25. So in the extrude window here, right, and if that is closed, all you have to do is maximize it. Just click a little arrow. I'm going to go ahead and put in 1.25 and extrude that out that distance. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a 2D sketch on the front face again. Okay, and again, to view your different faces, here's my view cube. I can rotate that around to get the different views. Again, currently I'm working on the front view. Okay. So right now I'm working in Sketch 2. Sketch 1, if I click the little plus next to Extrusion 1, as I put an extrusion, I tied it to Sketch 1, so that's how it shows in the browser window. But again, right now we're working in Sketch 2. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create another rectangle that is the cutout, all right, of that L. You can kind of see from the shape I'm drawing here. All right, and the length of this particular shape is going to be 1.5, and again I'll tab over, and the height of this is going to be 0.75. I'll enter that in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this section out. So to cut it out, I'm going to finish that sketch. I'm going to go to Extrude. This time, instead of joining or adding or pulling material out, I'm going to cut, which is the next button down. So I'm going to go to cut. And you see when I highlight it, it does have cut there. I'm going to select that surface, and I'm going to cut back into the shape. Okay. If it doesn't cut back, it's probably because you have your direction changed. So just make sure you're going in the proper direction to cut back through the shape. And I'll click OK. And you can start seeing in the shape it's starting to come together now. All right, next thing, I'm going to create another 2D sketch, and I'm going to select this surface here. And I'm going to click my line tool. And I'm going to select this top left-hand corner. I'm going to come over a distance of 0.25. All right, because if you look at the top of that shape, it has the cutout parts. They come in about 1/4 of an inch, and then they'll cut out that one section. And they come in 1/4 of an inch, so we're going to type in 0.25. That gives us a guideline. I'm going to select my rectangle tool. I'm going to click on that guideline, and I'm going to create that rectangle so it's the actual cutout. Right? So the length is 0.75, and I'll tab again, and the height is going to be 0.25. And now what I'll do is I'm going to finish that sketch, extrude, cut again. I'm going to cut at a distance of 0.5, and I'll select this surface. And I'm going to cut back in. Again, make sure if the direction's not set up initially, just change the direction. Click OK. The next thing I'm going to do is create another sketch. I'm going to put it on the top. And very similar, what I'm going to do is click my line tool. I'll select that. I'm going to click on this bottom left hand or bottom right hand corner. And I'm going to go up. It's basically a block and a half. So I'm going to go straight up here. A block and a half, which is 0.375. Right? It's 3/8 of an inch. So I can put in 3/8 or 0.375. It's the same thing. I'm going to press enter. That gives me a guideline. I'm going to select my rectangle tool. Now I'm going to create a rectangle that I'm going to cut out then. And this rectangle is a length of 1 inch. So we'll type in 1, and I'll tab over, and a height of 0.5. I'll finish that sketch. I'm going to click on extrude again, cut. I'm going to cut through at 0.5, cut down through that shape. So basically this is done. All right, the shape is completed. The only thing, if I wanted to color it, I could color it. So I can go up and color the part. And to do that, I'm just going to select the default color, which is typically gray. There's my default color here. So I just click on the default. It drops down all my colors. So let's say I wanted to just make this, let's pick cyan. Okay, so it's a blue. So let's say this is going to be my part. I'm completed now. All you're going to do is go to the application icon. You're going to go to Save As. You're going to save this in your engineering folder and your 1 through 12 parts. I already have this saved already. It's part 1, so make sure you label it part 1. If you're making part 2, 3, 4, you just make sure you label it as part 2, 3, or 4, whichever one you're currently working on, and save that into that 1 through 12 folder. Okay? We'll save it. And you're done with that. All right? Just let the instructor know if you have any questions on part 1. Thanks for watching.